Hi everyone, welcome to DSTV class 17AC 663. We will continue our module 1 introduction and design methodology. As we are know that module 1 is a three-part series, introduction and design methodology part 1, part 2 is the combinational basics, part 3 is sequential basics. We are now in the series of part 1. Okay, so far we have covered lecture 1A through lecture 1G. Okay, in that we have covered very important terminologies like fan out, rise time, fall time, setup time, hold time, clock to queue delay. Okay, we have seen how to what is the noise margin, how to determine the logic low level, logic high level ranges. We have seen all this in the previous lectures, and so far we have seen the prerequisites and the mandatory things while designing a system to be known. And we have not dealt in we have not come into the picture of how to describe a design in hardware description language. Okay, um, we have not came into that picture. Okay, how to describe a boolean function or how to describe a circuit connections using a hardware description language. Okay, in today's class we shall see. Okay, this is lecture number 1H and the topic is models. Okay, I welcome you all to the lecture number 1H, models. Okay, models means what are the models? It will be over, it may upper view, it may overview, it will be abstract view. It means uh, we have all gone through, we all played with this. Okay, we have used papers. In that papers we have made different crafts. Is it? We have made paper boats, we have made aeroplanes, uh, and we have played with the papers. Okay, uh, games like different creating some paper games. Okay, we have made different crafts in the paper games. Okay, what does that means? What craft means? What was it signifying? It was signifying that we are making just a model. Okay, we are creating just a view of that one. We are not making the actual functionality of that aeroplane or paper boat. We are just creating a just an image version, a prototype. Okay, a prototype means a model. Okay, hope the definition of the model has been clear. It means nothing but a prototype, abstract view. For example, a paper airplane, a paper boat. Okay, where it is not the real thing, it's just a abstract view, a prototype. That's it. That is the meaning of model. Okay, this is the paper play airplane you might have you made in your schools, in your colleges. You have played in the classrooms also with your friends. And this is the paper boat you might have did in your either 3 years, 4 years, when you were kid, 5 years, and you have played in a rain, right, in the waters, by making paper boats and all. What were you doing actually? Actually you were doing models. See, the thing which you did in the paper, the craft, the paper boat, the paper airplane in your school days and your college days, it is now helping you to understand this concept of this digital design one digital design circuit describing concept. What we need to describe the design in terms of abstraction view. Okay, we need to describe the design in prototype view. That's it. Okay, okay, if this is clear, we will move further. Okay, okay, you might have you created the airplane, a paper boat. It's nothing but a model. It's nothing but a abstract, a prototype. How? But we will not create an abstract view. We'll define the abstract view for in our digital design. We will define the abstract view. We will make it work. We will make it functioning. Okay, we will describe our design, digital design. Okay, whatever the digital circuit. Okay, we will define. We will use the abstraction method, abstraction procedure, and we will make it function by incorporating separate using appropriate functionalities. Okay, hope models means abstraction of an object. As a digital circuit designers, our task is to design circuits, right, with that circuits, okay, that performs required functions while meeting various constraints. Okay, whatever the design we describe, it should be able to work properly. It should function it should function properly and should meet the requirements and constraints. Okay, if the design is whatever that we are designing, if needs to, if that design in a real world it should work for 1.1 volt, with that should be constraint we need to describe, we need to design. If that product needs to use um, AC voltage, we need to carefully describe the design for that voltage. If the product needs to be used in a water, we need to have that in mind. The product is going to be work in water condition, under the water. We need to have that constraint in mind also. This is the meaning of constraints. Okay, what we will do, we will describe the design in a abstraction view. Means we will we will try to get the overview, means the output ports. We will take the abstraction, means output, number of outputs, number of inputs, number of intermediate wiring connections. Okay, we will describe in this way. Okay, we will collect all this list, and through this list we will try to describe the functionality of the design with different methodologies. Okay, in as a digital designer, we need to describe design that should able to function properly. For that, we will go in abstraction way. In that abstraction way, we will get the list of, we will get the what design we are going to do, we are going to design, and we will list out the number of inputs, number of outputs, number of clocks required, for what type of clock is it going to, positive clock or the negative clock. Okay, any intermediate signals are there. Okay, do we need to use resistors, or do we need to use wires, or just need to pass the signals. Okay, all this we will use in our hardware description language, and we will describe the design. Okay, in models we are supposed to design the circuit, so we will describe the circuit. Okay, such that the models which we develop, okay, should be able to function properly. Okay, we could try to build a prototype circuit to check that it performs as required. Okay, it is with respect to cost, with respect to time, and it is also with respect to the amount of time required to develop that model. Okay, a more effective approach is to develop models of our designs and to alert them. The last line is saying describing is not the final thing, we should verify that design. Okay, we should verify that the design is properly working in a appropriate pace. Means if the design performance is better, if you press the volume button, if you press increase of the volume button, it should increase the volume instantaneously. Okay, if you press the power off button, device should get power off. Okay, if you press the power on button, device should power on. Okay, for that we need to check the perform, we need to, and also we need to check the design output, whether are we going to get the correct output or not. Okay, describing the design is not the final thing, verifying the design is also part of the thing. That is the last line is saying. Okay, a model of a digital circuit is an abstract extraction in some modeling language. Okay, that modeling language capture the aspects which we are interested in, means the inputs, the outputs. Okay, like this. For example, we can describe the design in different ways. Okay, um, either we can directly describe the design using the boolean function, or we can describe the design using in a circuit way. Okay, those are the different ways. We will see what types of different methods we use to describe a particular digital circuit. Okay, there are few forms. One of the form is to express the design, okay, with its functionality. Just express just the function that the circuit is to perform, without including aspects of timing, power consumption, or physical construction. It means just describe the design the way it works. Okay, for example, a flip flop. Okay, for example, a D flip flop. The output, even though input is present, the output will be obtained only after a clock edge occurs. Okay, we can describe the design in a simple using if statement. Okay, if of clock edge, then output equals input, else output maintains the previous state. Okay, this is just description. We don't need to use the type of NAND based flip-flop or NOR based flip-flop like this. Okay, we don't need to use the gates, we just need to use some conditional statements. If of clock, then q is equal to d, else q is equal to previous state, like this. And another form of, we'll see the another form also. Another form of model may express the logical structure of the circuit, that is the way in which it is composed of interconnected components such as gates and flip-flops. It is saying that we can go in the another form also, the circuit way, how the circuits are getting connected. Okay, the the feedback cross connections of the logic gates for constructing the flip flop, D flip flop, NAND based flip flop. You can imagine that one. Okay, we will take a simple example to understand these 2 points. The first one is just express the functionality, okay, in a simple lines, and second one is use the logic gates and in the description use the name of the logic gates, describe the boolean function of it. Okay, we will take an example. Okay, both of these forms model may be conveniently expressed in hardware description language, SDL. Okay, we are going to describe our design using hardware description language. Okay, the first method we saw is just describe the function. The second method is describe the boolean function in terms of logic gates and flip-flops. Okay, what is a hardware description language? HDL is a form of computer language. Okay, it's similar to other programming languages, okay, other programming languages in which, okay, we can explicitly define our logic gates, our flip-flops. Okay, that is the uh, beneficial of using hardware logic gates to hardware description language to design our logic circuits, digital designs, VLSI designs. Okay, we shall see that these two examples further. Okay, the first one was just express the function as it is. Okay, we will take a 2:1 multiplexer. We'll consider 2:1 multiplexer. Okay, it has got two inputs. Okay, one which gives a logic 0, one which with respect to the logic 0 input, and one with the logic 1 input. It will be having a two inputs, input 1 and input 2, and the mux is a combinational circuit. Okay, it works based on the select line. Okay, one output is there. This is the 2:1 mux. Okay, whenever select line is 0, we will get the output as input 1. Okay, whenever the select line is 1, the output will be equal to input 2, right? Okay, how this mux can be described in a functionality way and in a gate way. Okay, using logic gates way. Okay, the first one expressing in a function way. What is the function? The function is if of select, okay, then output equals in 1, else output equals into. This is somewhat wrong. Wait, we will correct this one. Pardon me, correction is there. Okay, so pardon me for that. It was some semantic error. Okay, it was not syntax error, it was some semantic error, mistakenly happened. Pardon me for that. Okay, if select is 1, then output equals input 2. If else, if select is 0, output equals in 1. This is the way we can describe our 2:1 mux just by describing its functionality. Okay, this is called behavioral modeling. Okay, how the circuit behaves, we are describing it. That's it. Using if else construct, the behavior of the circuit is described. Then using the logical, this mux is constructed using combination of AND gates and OR gates and NOT gates, right? NOT gates, AND gates and OR gates. Is it correct, right? Yes, NOT gates are used for this select lines, right? Yes, a mux is nothing but a collection of AND gates and OR gate, and inverter is used in the select line. We will describe that way also. That is called structural way. Okay, means the circuit way, the circuit connection way. The second form is express the design using logical structure of the circuit. Okay, in which the way how the circuits are composed, how the circuits are interconnected. That description we can also do in our hardware description language. You can see that it has came output equals select bar and in 1 or select and into. This is the same thing, right? Whenever select is 0, means select bar means select prime. When select is 0, okay, we should get the output of in 1. So select prime and in 1 will be given to the output. When select is 1, we will be it should be ANDed with the into, right? We will be getting the output of into, right? This is the functionality way, the behavioral way. This is the how the logic circuits are connected. Okay, you might have seen the mux construction using AND gate, OR gates. Okay, one is functional way, the behavioral way, second one is the structural way. If this has cleared, we will take a one medium complex example, okay, in the upcoming slide. Okay, we will move further. Okay, we saw the circuit can be described using functional way, means the behavioral way, and the logical structure way. Okay, how the circuits are connected. In these two ways we can describe the design. Apart from this, other two ways are there in hardware description language, where we can describe our designs. Okay, but we are restricted to you according to syllabus. We are going to study about behavioral way and structural way. Okay, we'll take two examples of defining the circuit using functional way and structural way. Okay, functional models may also be expressed in mathematical notations. We are familiar with very famous mathematical notations. We are using Boolean functions. Okay, we can use the Boolean functions to describe, to express our design logic circuit design, and we can also use finite state machines or notations. Structural models may also be expressed in the form of graphical structure circuit elements. Okay, the first is saying about the functional models. It means we can express a Boolean function or FSM models, FSM notations in functional means in behavioral ways. And in structural models, we can go for circuit connections also. Okay, graphical level circuit connections. Okay, that is also provision in the our uh, description part. Okay, mainly we will focus on the hardware description language part. Okay, instead of going for analog part, we'll stick with the using of hardware description language. Okay, in order to execute our the whatever the code we write using hardware description language, okay, we should be having some tool. That tool is called CAD tool. It means computer aided design tool. Okay, computer aided design tools are used to describe our designs, validate, evaluate our design, and generate the circuit blocks and generate the output waveforms also. Okay, and designing electronic circuits using CAD tools is called as electronic design automation. What is the electronic design automation means? EDA. It means designing our electronic circuits with the help of CAD tools is called electronic design automation. Okay, we are talking about hardware description language. There are two types of hardware description language. One is Verilog and the second one is VHDL. We shall see in just a few percent of introduction to that one. Verilog is an hardware description language. It is developed by Phil Morby. Okay, Phil Morby, sir, when sir was working in a gateway design automation company, sir developed this Verilog language. Okay, later gateway design was acquired by Cadence Design Systems. We all know Cadence is a very popular company. Okay, product based company. Very soon you some of you, or maybe all of you, may be working in Cadence company in future by next year. Okay, I wish all the best. Hope all of you get come work in the Cadence, get a job in a Cadence company. Okay, all the best. Since then, the specification of very well, after the Cadence acquired the this gateway design automation. Okay, since then the specification of the Verilog has been standardized. It has been standardized in US, in United States, by IEEE. Okay, Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, and apart from US, okay, IEEE is also standardizing the Verilog internationally by the International Electrotechnical Commission (IC), so this language is getting standardized, and it is somewhat it has become somewhat simpler for the circuit digital designers to use. So the language has been widely adopted by designers and tool developers. Okay, it is very friendly language for the digital design lovers. Okay, Verilog is not the only we saw that we saw this the another version of HDL hardware description language is VHDL. VHDL is a very strict syntax followed language. Okay, it is used for very high-end applications like military applications. Okay, it is not that much user friendly, because in order to describe a design using VHDL, the designer has to follow has to strictly follow the syntaxes. Okay, has to strictly follow the syntax, whereas in Verilog, okay, it's a freehand. The designer can express the the design uh, at a somewhat cool nature. Okay. And we saw that describing the design is not the only thing. We need to verify the design also. We can verify the design using Verilog with the help of simulation by generating the waveforms. Okay. With the help of a set of input combinations, by writing test bench we can test that one. But in order to make the verification effective, okay, another language has been developed, which is nothing but the extension of the Verilog, which is the means a verification has been developed. It is called system Verilog. System Verilog is nothing but an extension of Verilog. It is a um, it is dedicatedly used for verification of the design purpose. Okay. It is system Verilog is aimed at design and verification of complex digital systems. Okay. It is one of the language which is dedicatedly using for verification of the design. Okay. We can also use another language called system C. Okay. System C you can also use for describing our design and verification. Okay. While these languages have many basic features in common, okay, all these will be having different varying advanced features. Okay. And all these are evolving. Okay. And right now you can note it down. Okay. We can describe the your digital circuit using in hardware description languages like Verilog and VHDL. For verification purpose, you can use system Verilog. No doubt you can use a Verilog for system verification, for verifying the design for verification purpose. For complex logic circuits means for very high um, when there are more number of applications are involved, when there are more number of operations are involved, sorry, when there are more number of operations are involved, it will be a complex system. So for complex system verification, for complex digital system verification, Verilog is not a good choice. You can go for a system Verilog where it is dedicated for verification purpose only. Okay. For complex digital design verification, we can go for system Verilog. We will take an example. We'll take an example um, and we'll try some complex, some medium complex. It's not a complex. Okay. We'll try to understand how we can describe the logical gate connections using Verilog, and how we can describe the same example in a functional way. Okay. We will try to describe the we will try to write the Verilog code for a particular design in its logical structure, means its logical connection way, and also its behavioral way. Okay. We will take an example of a VAT buzzer. VAT buzzer is nothing but a VAT means a container. Okay. VAT means a container. It is a VAT buzzer circuit. It is used to sense the temperature. Okay. VAT buzzer circuit is used to VAT buzzers. This is a VAT buzzer circuit. This is used to sense the temperature of a particular thing. The thing, we'll see what thing. Okay. We'll take some example for understand. For now, VAT is nothing but a large container. Okay. It is used to measure the it is used to maintain the temperature of some product. Okay. Okay. And VAT buzzer means whenever that product which is under maintenance of some particular temperature, if the temperature exceeds, okay, if the temperature of the product exceeds, okay, then some alarm should be made. Okay. The temperature is getting exceeded. Okay. For that we need to have some device to make alarm. Okay. To make that functionality, to we need to have some circuit to for functionality to get the alarm, to maintain the temperature and to note down the temperature rising and temperature decreasing. Okay. And to signify, to means sound the alarm when the temperature exceeds. Okay. I repeat again, VAT means a large container which is used to maintain some product's temperature. We'll take an example of a milk pasteurization. Okay. Milk pasteurization means heating of the milk with some other extra contents so that the pathogens inside it can die. Okay. Milk pasteurization, in milk pasteurization, it can where the milk will be poured inside a large container, and it will be maintained at a some degree Celsius, usually 63 degrees Celsius. Okay. A milk is pasteurized at 6 in a vat. Okay. At 63 degrees Celsius for half an hour, 30 minutes. Okay. Okay. This the 63 degrees Celsius is the maximum temperature. Okay. So that the milk can be pasteurized efficiently. Okay, if the temperature is less, the milk pasteurization is not that much efficient. Okay, means the quality of the milk is not that good. If the temperature exceeds more, the milk will not be a milk. It may become something other than. Okay, it will not be tasty. These all things you know. Okay, right now we are taking example of milk pasteurization. We are using a vat. Okay, means a large container. Okay, we are heating the milk for 63 degrees Celsius. If the temperature exceeds 60 degrees Celsius, okay, it should be alarmed. The temperature is exceeding, so maintain the temperature. Okay, okay, for that we will be using a vat buzzer. Hope this example has conveyed why we are taking vat buzzer. Okay, vat buzzer is a circuit. We are sensing the temperature of a product. Okay, whenever the product temperature is increased, an alarm should be made, should be done. Okay, for that we need a buzzer to make the alarm sound. Okay, in order to sense the temperature, we need sensor signals. Okay, and we need a sensor signals. Okay, and there will be a range of sensor signal. One is low temperature signifying, and one other signifying high temperature, and we'll be using two watts, watt 0 and watt 1. Okay, for pasteurizing milk at different temperatures. One watt 0 may pasteurize the milk at 60 degrees Celsius for half an hour. Okay, and watt 1 may pasteurize the milk at 72 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. Okay, let's consider these two, watt 0 and VAT 1. These are the two containers for milk pasteurization. VAT 0 pasteurizes the milk at 60 degrees Celsius for half an hour. VAT 1 pasteurizes the milk um, at 72 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. Okay, we can use any VAT for pasteurizing milk. That is not the concern. Just why we are using VAT 0 and VAT 1, because this is a syllabus. We need to understand why there is VAT 0 and VAT 1. There, okay, even though we are going for same milk pasteurization. Okay, we can pasteurize a milk for less time and from 30 minutes. Okay, right now VAT 0 is pasteurizing milk at 30 minutes, for 30 minutes, and VAT 1 pasteurizing milk for 15 minutes. Okay, one is faster, one is slower. One is nominal, not slower, not is nominal speed. Okay, we can pasteurize the milk in any of the container. Okay, you can see there is a buzzer. Okay, to make the sound when a temperature exceeds. For that, since we are having two watts, since we are using two watt 0 and watt 1, we need some multiplexer to select either the watt 0 output or watt 1 output. Right, we need a multiplexer to select the watt 0 output or watt 1 output. Okay, and we also require in each of the containers a low temperature and high temperature. Low temperature and high temperature. Here the low temperature is 25 degrees Celsius and the high temperature is 30 degree Celsius. Similarly, okay, and we require one low level. We'll see what is this low level will be used for. Okay, we require one low level extra input for uh, for uh, for functionality of this watt buzzer circuit. Okay, the circuit connection is like this. We have two inputs. We have three inputs. One is above 30 degrees centigrade and above 25 degrees centigrade and low level for watt 0, and we have used an OR gate where one of the input is 30 degrees centigrade and another one is the not of 25 degrees centigrade, means okay, less than 25 degrees centigrade. Okay, OR gate is getting direct one two, it's a two input OR gate. One is 30 degrees centigrade and another is less than 25 degrees centigrade. It is given by inverted of the greater than 25 degrees centigrade, and the output of that OR gate is going to the again another OR gate. Okay, the two input OR gate where the output is going to the OR gate. That OR gate another input is low level. Okay, this low level is used for specific purpose. We will see in further. Okay, finally the output of this VAT 0 is going to multiplexer as input 1. Okay, and the output is going to buzzer. That is about input 0 of the multiplexer. The input 1 of the multiplexer is coming from VAT 1. Okay, it is also using OR gate. Okay, same thing, but the temperature is very it's having 30 degrees centigrade and 25 degrees centigrade. Okay, same, not we are giving the not of the 25 degrees centigrade as input, another input of the OR gate. The output of this OR gate is going to the this next stage OR gate as one of the input, and the other input is coming from low level. Again, this input is going as in 0 to the multiplexer. So we will be selecting, either VAT0, VAT0 or VAT1. Okay, this selection is based on select input. Okay, so the select input is select VAT0 or select VAT1. Okay, a switch is used. Select VAT0 means select VAT0 when this is a switch. Okay, for selecting this VAT0 at VAT1, when select VAT0 is, the milk pasteurization is done in VAT0 container. If select 1 is used, the milk pasteurization is done in VAT1 container. Okay, based on that we'll be getting the output. If select VAT0 is selected and temperature exceeds, okay, and temperature exceeds the maximum value, and VAT0 maximum temperature will be going, and buzzer will sound it, and it display, and it tells VAT0 temp has exceeded maximum temperature. If when select 1 when select is VAT1, okay, then pasteurization happening is in the VAT1 container. Okay, if it exceeds maximum temperature, buzzer will be done, and it says, it indicating that VAT1 is has exceeded the maximum temperature. Hope this has cleared why we are using VAT0 and VAT1, what is buzzer, and the sensor, what is the importance of sensor signals. Okay, let's go to the statement of the example. The example is, develop a Verilog model that expresses the logical structure of the gate circuit in figure 1.5. Okay, Verilog model, we need to express the Verilog, write the Verilog code using logical structure, means we need to use this, we need to explicitly specify the NOT gate, OR gates. Okay, the NOT gates, the OR gates, the multiplexers, and all this, and the select lines, all this in our Verilog code. Okay, and since there are multiple OR gates, we need to follow some hierarchical flow. Okay, we'll try to construct this one. Okay, we need to write a Verilog code for this circuit and this circuit and multiplexer. We need to describe the multiplexer in Verilog using logical structure way, means AND OR gateway. Okay, we'll describe this one, and assume that the sensor signals, and the switch signal are inputs to the model. These sensor signals, these are the sensor signals, and this is a switch signal, are inputs to the model. Okay, these are the sensor signal temperatures, and this is a switch signal. Okay, you can see switch, select 1, select 0, are inputs to the model, and that the buzzer signal is the output from the model. Okay, buzzer is the output. We got the information from the example description that the sensor signals and switch signals are the inputs. Okay, these are the inputs, and buzzer is the final output. Apart from that, we have intermediary intermediary lines also. Okay, there is a NOT gate output, OR gate output is there, OR gate output is there, and MUX output is there. We need to name all this. Okay, since they're asking logical structure, we need to specify, we need to give the name for the NOT gate output, OR gate output, OR gate output, MUX output. Here also NOT gate output name for OR gate output, name for OR gate output. Okay, we need to give the name for all these also. Okay, before writing the Verilog code, we shall list out the this inputs and outputs, and also this intermediary lines. Before that, we'll try to name these intermediary lines. Okay, the solution is, the Verilog model consists of a module definition describing the inputs and output of the circuit, and the implementation of the circuit. Okay, we need to know that we will introduce the how to write a Verilog model. We'll get introduced. Okay, this is the figure showing with the names given to the each of the wires, the input of the NOT gate, the input of the OR gate, and output of the OR gate, and this output of the second OR gate, and output of the MUX. Okay, and also the inputs of these wires, and output of first OR gate, output of second OR gate, we have been named, and we have given the names for these gates also. You can see inverter 0 is given for this inverter, inverter 1 name is given for this inverter, this first OR gate of the VAT0 is given as R0A, and the first OR gate of the VAT1 is given as R1A, second OR gate of this VAT0 is given as R0B, and the second OR gate of the VAT1 is given as R1B, and you can see the input of the NOT gate inverter 0 is given as above 25.0. So the output of this NOT gate is below 25.0. Okay, if you give greater than signal, the output will be negation of that one, means below 25 degrees centigrade. Okay, and the other input of the OR gate is above 30 degree centigrade. Output of this one is temperature bad 0. Why bad 0 means if it exceeds. Okay, the temperature bad 0 is output of the first OR gate, and the output of the second OR gate is wake up 0, because this is VAT 0, so that it is ending with 0. You can see that bad 0 means temperature bad 0, wake up 0. At the last 0 is signifying VAT 0. These are the signals coming from VAT 0. And you can see the input of this VAT 1 NOT gate is inverter 1. In VAT 1 container, the inverter 1 input is above 25 1. Its output is below 25 1. Okay, hope you got how to write this one, the inputs and output names. See, see, you can see from where it's coming from 25 degree centigrade greater than, so the name is 25 degree 25 1 above underscore 25 underscore 1. This is the naming style which is used in programming. You cannot use spaces. Okay, you cannot use above space 25 space 21. Okay, that is not allowed. Space is not allowed because the tool will identify one word only. Okay, it will omit the second word. So in order to, if the name is long, we need to use underscore, or we need to use camel case. Okay, camel case is different. Right now we'll see underscore. Above underscore 25 underscore 1. This is the one single word name. Okay, okay, this is a one name. This is coming from greater than 25 degrees centigrade, and the other input of the OR gate is coming from greater than 30 degrees centigrade. So it is named as above underscore 30 underscore 1. Hope how to name is has been cleared, and from where the name is also coming is as cleared. Okay, and the output of this OR gate, is temp underscore bad underscore 1. Why 1? Because this is a circuit of VAT 1. Okay, the output of second OR gate is R underscore 1B. Okay, hope this has been clear. Okay, the identity, since we mentioned that multiple NOT gates or multiple OR gates are there, how to identify them? See, inverter 0, inverter then inverter 1. This is how we can identify different same NOT gate, okay, with different names. Same OR gates with a different name, R0A, R0B, R1A, R1B. Okay, 0 means VAT 0, VAT 0 component. These are the components which are present in VAT 0. 1 means these are the components present in VAT 1. The output is wake up 1. Output of the VAT 0 is wake up 0. Okay, y0 y1 I hope has cleared. From where the how the inputs are named? From these boxes, sensor boxes. Greater than 30 degrees centigrade, above 30 degrees centigrade. Greater than 25 degrees centigrade, above 25 0. How to name the above underscore 25 underscore 0, above underscore 30 underscore 0. Hope the naming has been cleared, I believe, and how to name this also cleared, and how to identify the gates has been cleared. Okay, and next the name of the mux is select mux, because it is having a switch. Okay, it needs to select VAT 0 or VAT 1, so the name is given as select mux. Instead of 2:1, it is given as select mux. It needs to select either VAT 0 or select VAT 1. Okay, the name of the output is given as buzzer only, because it ultimately it is going to connect to the buzzer, so identity name is buzzer. See, the naming is good. Okay, the naming is good. They are given to, so the name itself says that it signifies what it is performing. Okay, 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 if the naming has been cleared, we shall move to the programming part, means Verilog coding part. You can see the select line name is given as select VAT. Okay, if the select VAT, the name is select VAT, it is selected select VAT 1. You can see, this is upper one, upper switch, this is a switch, this is a switch. The upper one is select VAT 1, the lower one is VAT 0. Since here it has selected VAT 1, so it is named as select VAT 1. Okay, so basically it's a select VAT. The name of the select multiplexer select line is select VAT. Okay, there are two select lines, select VAT 1 and select VAT 0. Okay, we will construct this one. Before that we'll list out. Okay, we'll list out. We'll try to list the number of output ports, number of input ports, and intermediate connections. These are the input ports. These are the input ports. Okay, select input ports. This is the output port, and this what you are seeing, this temp pad 0, wake up 0 are intermediary, because they are coming inside. Below 25.0 is also an intermediary signal. Okay, this is not a input. Below 25.0 temp pad wake up, below 25 1 temp pad 1 wake up 1, they are not the input and output, they are intermediary signals. Okay, they are neither present in the input nor they are neither present in the input nor in the output. They are present in the intermediary part, so they are called intermediary. The buzzer is also can be called as a wire. Okay, but it's not required. Since this is an external device, we can call this line as a final output, so it is the output line. We cannot don't need to define wire. It can explicitly define as output. So the output is buzzer, the output is buzzer, and the next inputs are above 25.0, Okay, above 30 0, low level 0, because low level 0 means VAT 0 signal. Above 31, above 25, above 25 1, above 31, low level 1 means VAT 1, 0 means VAT 0. Okay, these are the components of the inputs of the VAT 1, VAT 0. Okay, all ending with 0 are inputs of the VAT 0, all ending with 1 are inputs of the VAT 1 container. Next, intermediate signals. What are intermediate signals? Next, select line. Sorry, select line is VAT 1. Okay, and last one is intermediate signal. The intermediate signals are below 25.0. The first one is the output of this one below 25.0. Next, temp bad 0, wake up 0. These are intermediate signals in the VAT 0. Okay, next the intermediate signals from VAT 1 are ending with 1. They are ending with 1. These are the intermediate signals of the VAT 1, temp bad 1, wake up 1, below 25 1. Okay, we'll write the Verilog code. Hope how to name the intermediate signals, how to identify the input ports, how to identify the output ports, how to name them has been cleared, and how to name the same gates which are present in the multiple times, and how to give them. Inverter 0, there are two inverters, one inverter 0, inverter 1. VAT 0 circuit, so inverter 0, VAT 1 circuit, so inverter 1. R gates, they are named. Okay, of the naming of these gates have been cleared. We will continue for writing the Verilog code. Right? How we are describing in gate connection. We get how the gates are connected. We'll writing the same form in Verilog code. Okay, this is not a functional code. This is a structural style of writing Verilog programming. Okay. Okay. We'll construct. This is the circuit we are going to write the Verilog code in structural way. The first in Verilog, the Verilog code must be defined inside a module and end module. Okay, it's like a abstract view. We called abstract view, right? Means a black box. And what we said, we need to list out the input ports, output port, intermediate signals, and we need to define the function. This is what we said in the beginning of the this lecture. Okay, we will create abstract view. In that abstract view, we need to make the circuit function properly. For that, we require input ports, output ports, intermediate signals, and description of the circuit functionality. Right? We will see. First, what we require, module and end module. Okay, before the module and end module, our Verilog, our circuit, whatever the digital circuit, whatever the digital design we are using, that should be included with a name. This is the module and end module. This is nothing but a box. Within this box, we need to define our function, means circuit function. Okay, it should include a name, list of output ports, list of input ports, list of wires, list of registers, and description of the functionality. Okay, we have written module and end module. Within this, we need to define the we need to describe our function. It should include name, the name of the design, the name of what we are designing, what design we are describing, VAT buzzer circuit. So module, next is VAT buzzer circuit. This is the name of the circuit. Okay, this is the name of the our program also. So we need to save our Verilog file. Our Verilog file has to be saved to verify it, to simulate it, to synthesize it. Okay, the Verilog file will be saved in .v format. The extension is .v. .v means you might have seen Word as .doc, PDF as .pdf, text as .txt. Similarly, Verilog file has to be end with .v extension. Okay, the name of the file, it should not be arbitrary. It should be the same name of the design, the design we are describing. The design name we are using is VAT buzzer circuit, the VAT underscore buzzer underscore struct. So our file name should be VAT underscore buzzer underscore struct dot v. Okay, now we have created module and name of the circuit. Next, we need to define the port list. The syntax is, it should be within a parenthesis. You can see parenthesis scheme. If not seen, I will show again. So after the name, a pair of parentheses should come. Okay, parenthesis, open parenthesis and close parenthesis. Within this, we need to define the output port names. Name of the input and output port names. Okay, to signify, while naming the input and output ports, we need to mention explicitly whether, if the name is output port, we need to mention it as output. Okay, before the name of the port name, we need to mention what type of output, whether it's output or input. Before the name of the port, okay, we know the output for a multiplexer was in1, in2, and select line was the input, output was out. So when we are naming in1, it should be preceded by type of port. whether it's input port or output port. Okay, the port declaration is such that first define what type of port, is it output port or input port, then followed by it name of the port. Okay, and this is not the end. This is not, that is not the next step. So the next step is we need to end this line, module name of the file, name of the design, and parenthesis. Okay, parenthesis pair, and this line should be ended with a semicolon, means end of the line. Okay, it should be ended with a semicolon. You should mention the semicolon here. Okay, and the next we shall name the ports. Okay, the first one is buzzer. We in the port list we need to start with the output port names. Okay, first output ports and then followed by input names. This is the standard one. Okay, see, you can see the buzzer is output, we are known, but how the tool will know, how the tool will know that buzzer is output or input. So we need to explicitly mention the type of port. So the type of port is output, so buzzer is a output, and it should end if you, after the name of the port, if there are still further names of the ports, either input or output, then so the to allow them we need to have comma. Okay, we should have comma, so a comma is present after the buzzer name, a comma is there, so we can accommodate other ports also. Next, list of inputs. Next, input, you can see for naming the input port names we need to name it as, we need to declare it as explicitly it is the input. Okay, we defined input, and the names are above 250 for VAT0. We are defining the names of the VAT0 container, above 250, above 30, and low level 0. You might have wondered where I have gone below 250. That was not input, that was not output, that was the intermediate signal. We will see how to write the intermediate signals are. Right now the inputs are above 25, above 30, above 250, and low level 0. Okay, next we need to define similarly for VAT1 input. Okay, above 25 1, above 31, low level 1. You can see each of the names have been separated by comma. Okay, commas, right? You can see commas has been included. Each name, each port name should be separated by comma. Okay, then next left is select line. Next one select is select line. Select VAT1, it is also input select VAT1. Now we have defined all the port list. Okay, next we need to define the intermediary wire signals. For that, since they are not storing, there are two types of intermediate signal notation. One is register, means if it is dealing with the flip-flops, okay, we can use registers, or if it is holding the value for in a circuit, for in a operation of the circuit, or okay, then we need to name it as reg. If it is just passing the signal, it is nothing but a wire, it's just passing the signal, it's a net, so we need to name it as a wire. If it is not holding the value, we need to mention it as wire, the name that signals as wire. If it is holding the value, to mention as reg. In our circuit example, there is no values which are holding, just passing the signals are there, so there is no need to use the name of the port as reg. You need to name the port as, sorry, signal as reg, not port, signal. So we need to name the signal as wire. Okay, it is mandatory to mention the intermediate signals, either wire or reg. Okay, here we need to use intermediate signals as wire. So wire, first we will define the intermediate signals of VAT0. What are? Below 25.0, temp VAT0, wake up 0. All are separated by comma. And it should, the line end with the semicolon. It should end with a semicolon. Okay, you don't need to use the parenthesis. Okay, only for port list we need to use the parenthesis. Okay, only for port list. It may be a module name, or it may be any functional description. Okay, next we need to describe the intermediate signals for wire signals for VAT1. Wire space below 25.1, comma temp pad 1, comma wake up 1. Okay, the S has come, and the S should not be there, some editing was there, we will try to edit, the S is not there. Okay, next we'll describe VAT0. Okay, we need to identify VAT0, so we need to comment it out. So there's a in every programming language there's a documentation section, it is called comment. Okay, comment means it is neither a description of the circuit, it is just for the designer or the reader to understand the code, to understand the program. Okay, it helps the designer or reader to understand what part of the design, what that line is actually doing, what that block is actually doing. Okay, that this forward slash nothing but a one of the commenting style of the Verilog. Okay, the tool will not uh, compile or simulate this. It just ignores that line. Okay, it will not take it seriously. We are describing the VAT0 uh, description. Okay, we have inverter, we have inverter 0. So what gate is it? Is gate, not gate. See, we are using not gate. It was not gate, right? Not gate. First we need to write the name of the logic gate, that is in structural way, not gate. Okay, not gate. Then name of the the name which we have given, that gate. This is the not gate, the logic gate. This is the name of the name given to that not gate, inverter 0. Then port list should be within the parentheses, right? Port list should be within the parentheses. We have said first in the port list the first parameter should be output. Next, after that whatever comes it should be input. Here the first below 25.0 is output name of our if inverter 0, right? So next one is input name. What was the input? About 25.0. Okay, please check the circuit. Below 25.0 is our output for the NOT gate, and above 25.0 is the input. Okay, in port list first parameter should be output, second and followed by it inputs, and each parameter should be separated by comma. Okay, we'll describe the next first R gate. R gate, R gate was R0. The name of first we need to explicitly mention the type of logic gate. This is R gate. Okay, this is the library cell. Okay, in the small case we need to use small cases. Please listen, we need to use small cases while naming the logic gates. We should not use capital case. Not gate is in small, or gate in small. All the logic gates whatever you use in your structural description Verilog, so you need to mention it in a small case. Next, name of the OR gate file. Okay, next you need to define the port list, open within the parenthesis, end with semicolon. First one is output name of the OR gate. What was the output name? Temp 0. Next comma, next inputs followed by our inputs above 30.0 and below 25.0 separated by comma. These are the inputs. Okay, hope you're getting right. Yes, next one is second OR gate. Second OR gate, it is also named as a logic OR gate. Okay, to avoid the confusion, for the reader, for the designer, for the tool, importantly for the tool will report if you don't give the name. That is why we are naming R0A, R0B. Okay, R0A is the A means first target, R0B means second target. Okay, that is why we need to name the gates also. Okay, if you don't give the names and if we just mention, if you omit this name in the description, the tool will get confused. The tool will give either a warning. Okay, we found two OR gates with two different port names. Okay, we got ambiguity like this is just in general. Okay, the tool will not give it like this. I'm telling to understand. Okay, for that reason we need to give the name for the gates also. Okay, now it is easier and in simplifier. Okay, to identify the gate names. So this is the second OR gate. So output of second OR gate was wake up 0, and the inputs are temp bad 0 and low level 0, right? You can check the circuit. This is about VAT0. Next, coming to VAT1. So to identify that we need to comment it out. We are describing VAT1 components for VAT1. What was there? Same NOT gate, OR gate, OR gate, but how to identify by proper names. How to define them? First, the first one was we need to give the names. Okay, logic gate name, it was NOT gate. Next, name of the inverter 1. See, inverter 0 will be VAT 0, inverter 1 will be VAT 1. It is easier to identify the inverter, right? Yes, we need to name also. Okay, why we need to give the names? This is why, because it helps in understanding the circuit. It helps the designer to fix the, if bugs are there, it helps to designer to fix the bug. It helps in identifying. Okay, and similarly we need to discuss first logic gate name and the name which we are given, user defined name, then the port list within parenthesis ending with semicolon, and within the parenthesis we need to define the parameters. First is output comma input, below 25 above 25. Similarly for OR gate also, OR gate, name of the OR gate, within parenthesis define the port list. Out first is output temp add 1, next is separated by comma inputs above 31 comma below 25 ending with semicolon. Next, second OR gate, OR gate, OR gate, R1B. Okay, define the parameter list within the define the port list within parenthesis. Okay, wake up 1, bad 1, level 1, ending with semicolon. I am using the name port list, port list, port list. The port list is referred to for the inputs and output. I am also stressing this because so that first time you are seeing Verilog, these are the input and output signals. This will be called as these are the port list. Whatever the intermediate signals we'll be using, that is called input signal and output signal. Why I'm using port list means so that you will get understanding, because first time you are writing the Verilog code in your this subject, in this syllabus. Okay, so please be aware. You need to uh, know properly know about the port list. First, the first parameter in the port list is output, and comma followed by it number of inputs. Okay, next, what part we are left? We are left with the multiplexer. We are left with the multiplexer part. Okay, what name you are given? Select underscore mux. Okay, okay, we need to define the multiplexer in structural way also. Okay, we will see out. We will take another approach called instantiation. Okay, since we are not learning the Verilog in depth, we will introduce another part called module instantiation. Module instantiation is means, it means, see whatever is seen, this is a description of the circuit connections, or not gate, or gate, or gate connections. Okay, for multiplexer, if you want to define like this, we need to describe further few 2 or 3 lines, 2 or 3 lines to describe the multiplexers also. Instead of that, we can write a separate Verilog code, a small Verilog code for which describes multiplexer functionality, and we can use that name of the multiplexer and its port list within this code. Okay, instead of describing the multiplexer in this code, we will write a separate Verilog code for the multiplexer. In that Verilog code, we will describe the gate level connection of the multiplexer, but and we will just use that separate multiplexer file name and its port list in this Verilog code. Okay, by this we will be avoiding the entire description of the multiplexer, and we will be saving number of lines, and will be saving the simulation time also. Okay, that is called instantiation. The by using of module name and its port list inside our circuit design is called as module instantiation. Whatever we saw, this is called gate instantiation. Okay, not gate name and port list, or gate name and port list, this is called gate instantiation. Now we are going for module instantiation. Okay, this is called the one which will be appearing now. Please observe the one which appeared now. This line is called module instantiation. All these are gate instantiation because these are library cells and using logic gates, not gate or gate. These are using logic gate. This is called gate instantiation. Since it is using another module, it is called module instantiation. This you can see mux2. Mux2 is our another different module. Mux2 is our module. This is the module name. Okay, separate module name, separate Verilog file module name, and we are giving name as select mux. Okay, this is the module name, this is user defined name, and the port list of that multiplexer Verilog file. First the output was buzzer, and the inputs are select line, input 1, input 0, and input 1. Okay, okay, that multiplex, we will see that the multiplexer code, and this is the separate Verilog multiplexer code, 2:1 multiplexer module. Okay, name of the multiplexer, pardon me, that is a mistake has happened. Okay, I'll try to fix that one. Okay, the name has been fixed. Quickly we will go to this separate Verilog file module description. Okay, we are writing 2:1 multiplexer module. Then the name of the module is multiplexer is mux2. This is because since it's a 2:1 multiplexer, we are naming it as mux2. So we are using this name mux2. See, this is the same module name. Okay, that is why it is called module instantiation. We are using same mux2 name here. Next, the port list within the parenthesis. Okay, should come within the parenthesis ending with semicolon. Output is y. Okay, we might have seen in our multiplexer in the earlier slide, it was output was y, input was in 0 and in 1, and select line was select. Okay, here our output is y and input is select. Another two inputs are input and input b. Okay, port list has been covered ending with semicolon. You can see module, name of the module, port list within parenthesis, output y comma input select comma input a comma b ending with semicolon. Semicolon is very much important. Next, since it is a combinational circuit, we will be using a construct called Verilog construct called assign. Okay, assign is used for only describing the combinational circuits. Next, after that assign, we need to give space and we need to give the name of specify the name of the output name of the circuit. The name of the multiplexer circuit was y, and equal sign, and describe the circuit. What the circuit in logical construction? Here dot means, here this tick means not, dot means AND gate, plus means OR gate. Okay, the now what is the functionality for function for this input 0 out selection? Okay, select prime ANDed with a, select prime ANDed with a is the in 0, b is the in 1, select prime ANDed with a. This is one of the select. Okay, if select is 0, output we call y. Okay, so this equation select prime and with y. Okay, if select is 1, means if select is 1, so output should get b. So the combination is select and b. Okay, the OR gate is used, either this one, if select is 0, this one, if select is 1, this one. Okay, this is how we describe the logical structure, the gate level description of the multiplexer. Assign y equals select prime ANDed with b, or select and b. If select is 0, a will be given. Okay, if select is 0, output a will be y. If select is 1, output b will be given. Right, is it clear? Prime is, if select is 0, what happens? 0 prime is 1, right? 1 into a is a, so output will be 1. 0 means 0 into anything is 0, so we'll be having only a value. If select is 1, 1 prime is 0, so a 0 into anything is 0, so we are left with 1 into b, so output will be b. Hope this mathematical calculation is clear, Boolean calculation. Okay, this is a representation of both. Okay, hope you all know the Boolean expression, simplification, substitution. Okay, and what part we are left? The Verilog, this should be in module and end module. We are missing with end module. My end module is the last one, so it's ending with end module. Okay, this is a separate Verilog file which we have written in, which are written for multiplexer 2. So your book has given module watt buzzer circuit Verilog program for this one, but it has not given Verilog code for the multiplexer 2:1 multiplexer for this line. Okay, for this line there is no multiplexer code. Okay, if this code is a Verilog code is asked, suppose it has been asked in the exam, you are supposed to explicitly write separate Verilog code for multiplexer. Okay, then you need to write this entire Verilog code, and you also need to write this multiplexer code also. You need to write two Verilog programming for this watt buzzer circuit. Okay, if they are given circuit, if they are given the circuit, you need to write these two Verilog codes. Please be aware of this. Okay, don't get marks deduction by yourself. This is simple logic of a few lines of a multiplexer code. Okay, if this has cleared, we'll discover the name of this circuit. We are well known. What was the name? Watt buzzer Verilog code. Okay, this was hidden all this time. Okay, this was hidden all this time. Okay, hope this how to write the Verilog code has been somewhat cleared. and how to describe, how to step by step, and how to describe the functionality has been cleared. I tried my best to convey the approach how to write the Verilog code, because you are not going to learn the Verilog code in depth, but you are going to use only few examples. So in the first example, I am supposed to give in a brief introduction or in-depth introduction how to write the Verilog code. Hope this has been cleared. How to write a Verilog code, how to describe the Verilog code in a gate level representation. Sorry, in the structural way, how the gates are connected. In the structural way means logical structural way. This is called structural style of writing Verilog code. Okay, please try to rewatch the video about how to write this Verilog. So if you watch one or two times, at the third time you will be somewhat proficient writing basic Verilog codes for uh, simple combinational circuits like half adder, full adder, okay, subtract, half subtractor, full subtractor, okay, or okay, like combinational circuit. If you understand this, you can write Verilog code for combinational circuits. Please watch this at least one or two times. I suppose, I believe it's not needed to watch repeatedly watch this how to write Verilog code in this video. I hope I have explained somewhat easier to understand in a one shot. Okay, okay, please, if this understand, we shall move how to describe this same example in functional Verilog code, functional style, that is behavioral description. Okay, shall we move? Okay, thank you. We will move. This is the actual Verilog code, which I will be sharing the slide with you. Please have a look at this. There are two Verilog codes for VAT buzzer, explicitly mentioned as structural Verilog code. This is the first part of describing the VAT buzzer circuit, and additionally you need to write multiplexer Verilog code also. Okay, um, here again same mistake. I will edit. Wait, same mistake is here. This is called okay, this is called bug. Please see how to fix the bug also. Okay, this is simple bug. Okay, this is simple bug. This is this is a major bug. This is a major bug. If I left out the name as select underscore mux only, when you try to execute, your um, Verilog code, then the simulator will tell there is no module called as mux2, because there is no name called mux2, module called mux2, because our name was, what mistake I did, select underscore mux. Then your simulator tool will tell that there is no module called mux2. Okay, select underscore mux is not found. Okay, like this it will not give. I'm just debriefing the meaning of that. Whatever the warning comes, it is dependent on simulator. Okay, dependent simulator. I'm just describing the meaning. This will be the meaning. We have not found mux2 module name. We have found select underscore mux, which is not findable. Okay, that is a major mistake. What I did was a major mistake. Okay, there is no module for mux2, so I corrected it as that multiplexer 2:1 multiplexer as mux2. So this is one of the way how to identify the mistakes in our program. Okay, hope this has cleared. So I have corrected the mux2 module name also, mux2. Now this entire code will work fine. If I have left out select underscore mux, this program would have not worked properly. You would have stepped with the error. It's not warning, it will give a error. There is no mux2, we cannot proceed further, we cannot simulate. Okay, so please be aware of each and every wordings, each and every names, each and every extensions, r0, r1, r2, mux1, mux2, like this. Okay, the name should be matching. Here small case mux2 small case, here should be mux2. You should not write capital case, you should not write mixing case. The same case should be given. Whatever the name you are given in this module mux2 mux2 small mux, you should, while module instantiation you should the same name, you should use the same name. You should not use capital case mux, small case mux, capital case mux. It pronounces same in human voice, in human word, okay, while speaking. Okay, but it is in the small case mux and uppercase mux are not the same for tool, simulation tool. It will differentiate, it will tell it is a small case, it's a different, it's a uppercase, Now uppercase mux2 is not there on. Okay, the tool, it's a machine, it is not human to understand, to compromise. We humans will compromise. Okay, what is the difference between small case and uppercase, we'll see. Okay, mux in small case, in uppercase are the same for us humans, but we are using computer tool, cat tool. Okay, that's a compute that will understand only machine language. If it is a if this will be decoded, all this will be decoded to machine understandable code. Okay, okay, all this will be decoded to machine understandable code in terms of binary 0 and 1. Okay, in your ASCII case, uh, it is for lowercase there is a separate number, there is uppercase, there is separate ASCII code, lowercase at separate ASCII code, uppercase is separate ASCII code. So capital M is a different ASCII code, small m is a different ASCII code. Then the tool will give the capital case. If you have written by mistake, if you have written capital mux2, capital MUX, then the tool will substitute binary hexa code of capital M, capital U, capital X. Then it will say how the, I'm telling how the error comes. Then it will say this capital mux2 is not found. So please be careful about the case sensitive also. Okay, cases also. Okay, whatever, while module instantiation you're supposed to use the name, the case, the name and the same name you should use, the same cases you should use. Okay, later don't blunder. Okay, I said mux2, I did select underscore mux, so I replaced with mux2. I said if I left it out, it is a big mistake. Okay, and you are corrected as small mux2. And in while writing in this program, if you are made, if you are written as capital mux2 and you and error is showing mux2 is not found, and you are thinking I am written mux2, I am named file as mux2. Okay, you are arguing with yourself, you are arguing with your colleague, you are arguing with your friend, you are arguing with team leader, I am using the same name but it's showing error, tool is wrong. You will complain tool is wrong, we'll use different tool. So tool is not wrong, we are wrong. Okay, we are using uppercase instead of small case. Okay, instead of wasting time, we will, another way of identifying the bug is, okay, if the case mismatch, we will go, we'll identify, we'll check for a case mismatch also. So if we are use small case in module instantiation also, it should be small case. Okay, don't try to point out at the computer it is wrong. We humans do wrong, machines will not do wrong, it will um, do the function how it is designed. Okay, we need to be careful. Okay, hope this this was somewhat quite long. Okay, how to fix the bug also, naming in naming. But apart from this functionality, if you made if you have wrongly described given mismatch name, instead of below 25.0, if you have given below 25.1, instead of above 25.0, if you have given above 25.1, okay, there is nothing wrong, no error will come, no error will come. At the end you will get wrong output. Okay, for that sake, please use the proper names within the VAT0 and VAT1. If you by mistake if you interchange VAT1 components in VAT0 and VAT0 components in VAT1, okay, and maintain the same inverter 0 OR gate, inverter 1 R1 gate like this, and if you mismatch the names, it definitely will get the wrong output. Okay, please be careful about naming conventions and placing of the proper names within the proper port list. Okay, if this has cleared about about bugs and debugging, okay, we will move to the further. Okay, in this VAT buzzer module circuit, we have given the name of the module as VAT buzzer struct. Okay, VAT buzzer struct, that is the name, VAT buzzer struct, because VAT buzzer circuit is the name of the VAT buzzer, struct because it is, we are describing in structural way. Okay, that is why it is called struct. Okay, it is not struct in any way, it is not struct, it is struct ending with t, not ed, struct, because it is a structural way, VAT buzzer in structural way, VAT buzzer struct. And we have also defined the port list, input port list and output port list. Each one we have explicitly mentioned. Okay, each port is given a name and is either an output port or input port. The remainder of the module, we have defined the details of the circuit, means we have described the circuits. We also described the circuit as a collection of interconnected components. We used structural model to describe the design. Okay, we have used a special net called wires. Okay, wires for to identifying the to naming the intermediary signals. Okay, in this case Verilog would allow us to omit the net declarations since each net is a simple wire carrying. Please listen this, a wire carrying just a 0 or 1 value. Why you used wire? It is not storing value, just passing, it's just carrying either a 0 or a 1 for a momentary. It is not holding the value. If it is holding the value, we can use reg, but it's not holding, just passing, it's just carrying, so it is named as wire. Okay. Okay, following the net declarations, a number of instances has been done. The instances are gate level instantiation and module level instantiation. Okay, we shall see each instances has a name to distinguish it. For example, in the inverter in the VAT0 named as inverter 0. Okay, the inverter in the VAT1 is named as inverter 1. Okay, this is the instance name. And the OR gate in first OR gate in VAT0 is named as R underscore 0A, and the second OR gate in VAT0 is named as R underscore 0B. Okay, 0 means VAT0, and the OR gates in VAT1 is named as R underscore 1A, means first OR gate, and second OR gate R underscore 2A means second OR gate. Sorry, 1B, sorry, R underscore 1B, one for VAT, B for second OR gate. Okay, this is the example about how to name the gate instances. Okay, and that about gate level instantiation. Sorry, gate instantiation. And module instantiation means separate Verilog file. Okay, if you are using library cells like NOT gate, AND gate, OR gate in your program, okay, that is called gate instantiation. If you are using separate Verilog file, another Verilog program inside your program, okay, you will be using the name of that Verilog program and the port list of that Verilog program. Okay, you will not using that describe. Okay, when you are calling another Verilog module in your another Verilog name in your program, it is called as module instantiation. Okay, you have seen two types of instantiation. One is gate instantiation and module instantiation. Okay, and for different instances you saw for signal instances below 25.0, above 25.0. Okay, these are the intermediate signal instances. Okay, whatever the gates, NOT gate, OR gate you use, those are library cells. Those library cells are called as built-in primitives. Okay, those library cells are called as built-in primitives, and the mux2 is not a built-in primitives, that is the user defined Verilog code. Okay, when we write Verilog modules on our own, we can choose the order of input and output ports. Okay, hope this lengthy explanation has covered how to write Verilog, how to what is gate instantiation, what is module instantiation, why to name the gates in a program in a circuit. Okay, and why to mention the intermittent signals means wires in the circuit. Hope this has cleared. Okay, we talked about documentation means about comments. Okay, there are many comments are helpful to understand the program better way. Okay, there are two forms of comments. One form is single line comment and the second form is multiple line comment. Single line comment starts with two slashes. Okay, single line comment starts with two slashes. Single line, this is a single line comment, means only one line, and in only one line you can uh, comment. Okay, you can write describe you can write the information in only one line. This is called single line comment. It starts with two slashes. It should not extend on the second line. Whatever the information you are giving, okay, for understanding purpose, for documentation purpose, while using single line comment, it should be in the single line only. It should not extend to the second line. Okay, for if the information you are conveying means who wrote the Verilog, when the Verilog code was written, on what date, on which month, on which year, which company. Okay, this information, the name of the author, the name of the Verilog file, and the time, date, company, place, all this information will require multiple lines. So for the multiple line documentation, multiple line information given, we have multiple comment. Okay, multiple line comment starts with, and the first line of the multiple line comment, the first um, the comment should start with /star. Okay, /star, and type the information, and at the end of the information done means after at the multiple lines means more than one line. Okay, if the comment is of two line, then first character of the first two characters of the comment should be in I'm telling about multiple line comment. If there are two line comments, first the multiple line comment start with /star, and star, then write the information. Then the information is completed. At the end of the information, you're supposed to write star /. Okay, okay, there are two types of comments. Forward two, one is single line comment, two forward slashes, and the second one is multiple line comment, means star I vad 0 done. Okay, two lines are there, end with */. This is multiple line comments. This is only one line. This is two lines. Multiple lines, two lines. Okay, in multiple lines between /* and */. Okay, it may be 2 lines, 3 lines, 10 lines, whatever the information written, it will be read as comments only. It will be ignored, it will not be simulated. Okay, next we will try this is the figure, same figure. Okay, we will try to develop a Verilog code. We'll try to describe the Verilog of we'll try to describe the watt buzzer circuit using functional Verilog modeling. Okay, when multiplexer, in 2:1 multiplexer, while describing the functional model, what we did, we used if cases. If of select line output is in 1, else output will be in 0. Okay, what we did we used any AND gate, OR gate? No, right? No, we did not use any AND gate, OR gate, or not gate in that. We just used some condition, some behavioral, how it behaves. If it is raining, we will carry umbrella. Okay, to go outside. If else, we will not carry umbrella. So like this we said, right? So similarly, we will describe the function. Okay, behavior of the function. Okay, the way we describe the circuit behavior, it's called as circuit functionality behavior. It's called behavioral style. Okay, we'll write the watt buzzer circuit in behavioral modeling. Okay, the example is asking, describe the watt buzzer circuit using Verilog model that expresses the function that expresses in functional way. Okay, develop a Verilog model that expresses the function performed by the gate circuit in figure 1.5. Figure 1.5 is watt buzzer circuit. Okay, we are writing, it is asking to describe the watt buzzer circuit in functional way, means behavioral way. What was the circuit? This was a circuit. This was a watt buzzer circuit. The solution is, we can use the same port list, whatever the program Verilog code we have written structural program way. We can use the same port list because circuit is same, and port declaration, same port declaration as for the structural model. Since the inputs and outputs are same, we simply need to revise the body of the model, means description of the model. We don't want to use, because since it is asking only write the Verilog program in its functional way, means its behavioral way. We don't want to use any logic gates. Okay, we'll just use the operators. Okay, we'll just use the operators. You all know logic operators. Ampersand sign for AND gate. Okay, 2 ampersand sign for logical AND gate. Okay, pipe straight line, vertical line for OR gate. Okay, tilde sign means negation sign for NOT gate. Like this, we will use the operator symbols for describing in functional, for behavioral way. Okay, we'll see the code. Okay, we'll construct first how to write the Verilog code. It should have module and end module. Within the module and end module, our program should be written. Okay, for first we wrote module and end module. Okay, when we are writing at the end, we'll write the end module because we don't know how many lines the program may span. Okay, first is module. Okay, then what is the next one? Name of the module. What is the name of the module? Watt buzzer. Okay, next behavior, watt underscore behavior. What was the structural Verilog code module name? Was watt underscore buzzer underscore struct. Struct was for structural. See why how the name has been done neatly. So now here the name is for functional Verilog code, behavioral Verilog code. The name of the module is VAT underscore buzzer underscore behavior because it's signifying behavioral modeling. Okay. One important thing to be conveyed, I will tell in the end. Okay. Next is define the port list. It should be done within parentheses. Within parentheses, we have done. We have written parentheses. Next, semicolon. It should end with the semicolon. Within parentheses, we need to write the port list. Output port buzzer, comma, input ports of the VAT0, input ports of the VAT1, input port another one is select VAT1. Oh, same port list, right? Yes, we have used the same port list. Only the name of the module has been changed, which is VAT underscore buzzer underscore behavior. Okay. Next, we need to here one thing to be conveyed. um, um, in the structural Verilog code, we are describing the gate connections, how the gates are connected. There intermediary signals comes. So we are expressed explicitly about intermediary connection names. Wire below underscore below 250, low and temp bad 0, wake up 0. Wire below 25 1, temp bad 1, wake up 1. Those were the intermediate signals because we are describing the connections, gate connection as it is in structural way. But this is not structural programming. This is behavioral style of Verilog code. Means expressing the function. We don't need to mention all the gate level, all the gates, inverter, OR gate, multiplexer. We don't need to mention the gate names. We don't need to use the library cells. We don't need to go for gate instantiation or module instantiation. We can directly use the operators. Means we can express the boolean function in this one. In functional way, you can express the boolean function directly. How we express the boolean function, that we need to use Verilog syntaxes. Okay, to express the boolean functions for conditional like multiplexers, there is an operator called conditional operator. We can use conditional operator for expressing the boolean function. Okay, or multiplexer, or we can use the same multiplexer select bar ANDed with in 0 or select ANDed with in 1. Like that we can use the same boolean function, or we can go for the operators of the Verilog language. Okay, either way you can express the functional part of means behavioral. Either we can do the behavioral coding of the design. Okay, right now we are doing behavioral way. For that, since a multiplexer is a one more thing, we don't need to mention the component names, gate names. We don't need to give the connection details. What we need to give, how the circuit behaves. How the circuit means directly we are going to the output part. We are not dealing with all the gates. Directly we are getting the output part, means output, right? Output part, output functionality. So we can directly jump to the description of the output function. Okay, output function, right? So we are saving number of lines. Okay, and just expressing in boolean function or using operators of the Verilog language. Okay, so many lines will be saved. Since it is a combinational circuit, we should use a keyword called assign. Okay, assign output equals input, output equals expression, output equals boolean expression, output equals operator. Okay, the keyword is should be used while writing combinational circuit. Assign combinational circuit output equals boolean expression. Okay, this is the syntax, end with semicolon. Okay, this is the syntax for writing combinational output functionality. We'll see. We need to use assign. Since this is a combinational circuit, we used to use assign. Then output name. What was the output? Buzzer equals. We need to express the functionality. We need to write the equation. Okay, output equation. Okay, what was the our select? What was the circuit of the? What was the circuit of the output? It was a multiplexer. What was the circuit? Multiplexer. Multiplexer has got two inputs here. Okay, and one select line. Okay, means we need to use select bar in 0 or select in. Select bar ANDed with in 0 or select ANDed with in 1. This is boolean function. but we can use Verilog language operators called conditional operator. Okay, if select is 0, select the first input. If select is 1, go for the second input. So we'll use Verilog's language, one of the operator called condition operator, to describe this. Okay, first the syntax is this. First name the select line. Select line means testing condition. If this testing condition is 1, select the second input. If testing condition is 0, select the first input. Okay, see. Next, this is testing condition, select line. Next, question mark is there because this is a conditional operator. Condition means if you enter the class at 8:30, you will get the attendance. If you enter the class at 8:35, you will not get the attendance. This is a condition. Okay, like this. Condition means question mark. Okay, here the question mark and another is to ob means condition means there should be two cases. One, if you satisfy the condition, you will get the attendance. If you don't satisfy the condition, you will not get the attendance. So there are two operators, question mark and is to, for conditional operator. Okay, between this question mark and is to, and after the is to, there will be is to means colon. Okay, question mark and colon are the two symbol operators we'll be using in condition, are the two symbols we'll be using condition operators. Okay, for conditional operators, first is the condition. Here the condition is select line. If select is 0, okay, choose one value. If select is 1, second value. For that we need to have one symbol called question mark. This is for condition. This will evaluate the condition. Next is if select is 1, okay, if this select is 1, okay, it means we need to select the true value. Okay, else we need to select the false value. For that colon should be used. Okay, colon should be first. I will reveal the all the cases. Okay, okay, please observe this. Please observe the question mark and colon, question mark and colon. Okay, this is the conditional operator. I will explain this first part. Whatever the lines you are seeing, whatever the words you are seeing after question mark, this is called one true value. If select is 1, you should get this expression result, means wake up 1. You should get wake up 1. Okay, if you go and see the circuit, low level 1 or with above 31, or with not above 25, it is the output of wake up 1. Okay, we'll see. And if it is select is VAD 0, okay, then it should select the wake up 0, low level 0 or above 30 0 or not of above 25 0. Okay, this is the conditional operator. Okay, condition, question mark, true value, colon, false value. Okay, okay, this is about the multiplexer output using conditional operator. Next, end with end model. This is somewhat simpler, right? We have saved many lines. We have said get instantiation, we have said module instantiation. There is no need to write multiplexer with separate Verilog file. In structural programming we saw we need to explicitly write separate Verilog file, but you need to write here no need to write separate multiplexer Verilog file. Okay, this is somewhat simpler, right? Okay, this is about functional style of writing the Verilog code and behavior style. One more thing, okay, please be aware, the question is same. Okay, in exam they may ask, okay, write the Verilog code for bad buzzer circuit, and they will give the circuit also. But you need to look carefully whether they are asking to write the Verilog code is in structural way, logical structural way, or they're asking to write the Verilog code in functional way. Okay, please don't mix the styles of Verilog code and don't lose the marks. Okay, if they're asking for structural way, go for the first Verilog example we took. If they're asking the functional way, just use this program. Okay, we'll continue. This is the program for your understanding purpose. In a slide I will share. Just a minute. See, what was the functional way? We are writing Verilog code for multiplexer. Okay, multiplexer. See, the multiplex, this is a select multiplexer. Its output is wake up 0 and wake up 1. Wake up 0 is cutting from low level 0 ORed with low level 0 ORed with, okay, low level 0 ORed with temp add 0. Temp add 0 is nothing but coming from above 30 or not of above 25 right? Same we have conveyed, same thing. Okay, same thing, low level 0 ORed with, okay, above 30 not of above 25 correct? Similarly, wake up 1, okay, wake up 1, wake up 1 is low level 1 ORed with above 31 ORed with not of above 25. Okay, this is how we wrote the um, input expression for this combinational circuit here. This is the condition, wake up 1, wake up 1 condition, and this is the condition for wake up 0, expression for wake up 0. Okay, this is what how we got that expression from the circuit. Okay, please bear for some more time. The program which we have written, it's called as behavioral model. It's called as behavioral model. We here, this is, since it's a combinational circuit, we used an assign statement called single assignment statement, which is used to express the output functionality of the design. Okay, in the circuit we have used a vertical line, it is called pipe. It is used, it signifies the OR gate function. In the description we use no, negation, tilde. Okay, tilde, this is a pipe, means single vertical line. This is called OR gate, and this is called tilde. Okay, negation, this is for NOT gate inverters. Okay, and the condition, we use one condition, you can see the orange color. Okay, the orange color, this is for condition select line, and the question mark and true value colon false value. Okay, out, this is a conditional operator, use conditional operator. The conditional operator is first conditional part, the dot, you can see the dot is condition, the next one is question mark, next true value colon false value. Okay, for example, assign, okay, output equals condition. Okay, condition to be selected, if select is 1 get the true value, if select is 0 get the false value. Okay, this is a condition, it is evaluated. Question mark, this question mark will evaluate this select. Okay, if select is 1 output will be B. Okay, if select is 0 output will be A. Further, to select between these we need to use colon operator, and it should end with a semicolon. Select is tested as a condition, if select condition is true y equals B, if select condition is false y equals A. The question mark character is tested, this will test the condition. Okay, okay, if it is 1 the value of the expression after the question mark, after the question mark, whatever the, if it is true, whatever the value after the question mark is given to the output. Other, if it is not false, what the value after the colon mark is given. Okay, okay, the examples above illustrate the general organization of the structural Verilog model and behavioral Verilog model. Okay, name of the Verilog source code file is to be named after the module name. What we said, the name of the Verilog file should be the name of the module name only. For example, module half adder, open parenthesis close parenthesis semicolon, close parenthesis semicolon. Here the module name is half underscore adder, then the Verilog file name should be half underscore adder dot v only. Okay, why we need to name, because this makes it easier to identify the Verilog file and easier to using the our project also. Okay, next, benefits of Verilog. Benefits of Verilog, by using the Verilog we can have some benefits. What, we can describe the design, we can simulate the design, means we can verify the design, we can synthesize the design, means we can describe the design, means we can write the we can entirely describe the Verilog the circuit functionality. And verification means we can simulate, we can give the input by writing test benches, we can give the input combinations, so we can get the proper output in the forms of waveforms. And synthesis means we can realize this in terms of gates. We are used words to describe our design. Okay, but we are not seeing any gates. How to realize into gates, the tool will do. Okay, if you write the Verilog code, if you go for synthesis part, the tool will give the gate level realization, it will give the gate level connections of the circuit. Okay, RTL level, that is called RTL level. Okay, benefits of using Verilog, there are 3 principal design tasks that benefit from the use of Verilog. Just by writing the Verilog and using the simulator tool and synthesis tool, we can get 3 benefits. What are the benefits? Design entry and verification and synthesis. Design entry is nothing but expressing the design model, describing the functionality of our design. Okay, we can describe the design either by writing the Verilog code or by using the graphical schematics. Okay, okay, but schematics are not feasible. Schematics can be used for, we can describe the design entry, we can do that, we can describe the design is entry is nothing but describing the design. We can design the, we can describe the design either by writing the Verilog code or VSDL code, means textual form, or we can use the circuit connections. We can do the circuit connections, means graphical schematics. The circuit connections, the graphical schematics is easier for simple circuits, but for larger circuits it is not that much easier. Okay, it is it's not it should be avoid that using of describing the circuit using kind of graphical schematics, means component wise, means using the circuits to construct, that is not a very helpful one. Okay, instead of that we can go for textual form. Okay, we can describe in English words. Okay, you can describe the Verilog, we can describe the circuit in English words using Verilog language. Okay, it also works better with other computer tools such as scripting tools and source code control tools. Next, next is verification. The second benefit is verification. Verification means we can give the, we can simulate the design. We can give the input combinations to the inputs by writing a test bench, and you can get the output by waveforms. Okay, there are several aspects of verification: functional verification, timing verification, power verification, manufacturability verification, test verification. Functional verification means giving the input combinations, checking the outputs. Okay, timing verification means whether it is giving the output at proper time. Okay, whether setup time is correct, hold time is correct. Okay, this can be done. And power verification with respect to constraints. Okay, we'll see. Functional verification involves ensuring that the design performs the required function. Means if you write the Verilog code for half adder, okay, we will write the test bench for half adder. In the test bench, we'll be writing, we'll be giving the input combination. We are not introduced to the test bench. Just understand, test bench is nothing but it's like a Verilog code where we will give the input combinations values to the all of the values with the time variance. Okay, there will be different time units, we'll mention the different time units. At that time unit we will give the proper input combinations and we will get the outputs by running that Verilog code. Okay, functional verification involves ensuring that the design performs the required function. Timing verification involves ensuring that the design meets its timing constraints. Timing constraints are ultimately derived from the performance requirements of the circuit. For example, in a circuit that processes a digital representation of an audio signal, the processing steps must be performed at the sampling rate of the signal. It means timing constant. As per the example we see, if I speak like this fast, we are studying DSDV module 1. Okay, according to video syllabus. Okay, whatever the speed I say, it should give the same speed. If I say like this, we are studying DSDV module 1, in this space when you are receiving, if it sounds like we are studying DSDV module 1, if you listen like this, then it is working slower. It is giving the signal, it is giving the audio signal in a slower manner. Hope you got this difference. Okay, ABCDEFG, this is in this speed I said, but when you're receiving, if it's not, if it's giving the output like A B C like this, if it gives like lagging, this is, it's meeting in just an analogy, this is just an analogy. Okay, it's lagging. In reality, if you take a mobile phone, we will not go other than mobile phone. If you press the power button of the mobile phone, the screen should glow within a fraction of a second. If it doesn't on, if it takes too much time, it is lagging, it's not working proper. Okay, similarly we'll take an example of a radio. Okay, when you change the channel, radio channel, the channel should change instantaneously. Okay, if it changes very light, it takes too much time, means the signal is not proper. If you're listening radio channels, and if you are in 91.1 and if you want to change to 98.3, when you enter 98.3, you should, the radio, the channel should give 98.3 program. If it taking some time, if it is not switching to 99.3, means it is lagging. Okay, that is one of the um, timing example. Okay, power verification, that in general way we're not, since we are not dealing in depth to we need to understand in a single slide only. We need, this is the much of the information not sitting, we are not going out of the syllabus. We need to understand this line, this entire big concept in single lines, in a few words, so that I'm giving a simple explanation. Okay, power verification means ensuring that it meets the power consumption and power dissipation. Okay, in the last class we saw about, in the last, I think in lecture 1 here or lecture 1F, we saw about power. Okay, different static power consumption, dynamic power consumption, and heat dissipation. Okay, all this we need to meet all these things. And manufacturability verification, it means it should the circuit should be able to operate properly. Okay, after the manufacture also. Okay, after the manufacture also, even some variation occurs. Okay, it means whatever the circuit you design and it goes to IC manufacture, after the manufacture also the circuit should perform properly. Okay, if the mobile phone, if you're trying to use in Ballari, very high temperature is there, it should work properly. And if you goes to Himalaya, and there also you are using same mobile, the mobile should proper functionally. And you go to um, some waterfalls, in waterfalls you have the habit of using mobile in waterfalls also. When you go undergo waterfalls or undergo water, in undergo water you need to use the mobile phone. Then the mobile phone should work in some hot temperature, and in cold temperature like Himalaya, and water temperature also. In all this temperature the mobile device should work. So just an example. Okay, means in high temperature, in low temperature device should work. So anywhere, this example. Okay, some aeration occurs in manufacture and the device is sold. Okay, then it should be able to work properly. And test verification, ensuring that the manufacturer circuit can be tested to identify defective parts. All of these forms of verification involve analysis of models of the circuit to determine the relevant properties and checking that the property values are acceptable. Functional verification is often the most time consuming part of the entire design process. Why? Because if it's a two input gate, we will be having how much combinations? Four combinations: 0 0, 0 1, 1 0, 1 1. Okay, we need to check each combinations. If one combination taking 1 second, then we will be required 4 seconds to verify. Okay, we'll not go for millisecond, nanosecond, microsecond, picosecond. We'll take second, time units. Okay, for four combination verification we require 4 time unit. Similarly, if it is for 3 input, there are 8 combinations. Okay, we require 8 time units. For 4 input, there are 16 combinations, require 16 time unit. What happens if there is n input? What, not go for n, 50 inputs, we require how many combinations? 2 to the power 50 combinations. Okay, if there are 50 inputs, we require 2 to the power 50 combinations. Or 5 inputs, 2 per 1, 2 per 16. Then how many combinations it requires? It requires many combinations. Since one combination require 1 time unit, imagine 2 per 50 combination requires how long time unit? So functional verification takes so much time. You cannot go for simulation way. For that purpose only, system verilog is used for verification. Okay. One approach of functional verification is simulation, in which the model is interpreted as an executable computer program by a CAD tool called a simulator. Simulation is nothing but you will be writing a test bench where you will be giving the input combination values and you will be checking the output waveforms. This is simulation. Okay. This simulation involves applying different combinations, input combinations, and sequences of value to the input ports, executing the model code, and ensuring that it produces the required values on the output ports. Okay. For behavioral models, the expressions in assignment statements can be executed directly. For structural models, each component instance must have a corresponding behavioral model that can be invoked by the simulator. The simulator passes values produced at the outputs of components along the interconnecting signals to the inputs of the other components. What it's saying means simulation is nothing but whatever the design we have described, but and parallelly it should have synchronously it should have a test bench. Verilog code is a description part and test bench is a where you will be having a list of input ports and all the input ports should be given all the input combinations, not all the few of the input combinations at different time intervals. Test bench involves the Verilog module instantiation and input port names, and all these input port names will be given each input combinations at different time intervals. Okay, this test bench, when we run in the simulator, it will give the output in the terms of waveforms. Okay. Okay, simulator is nothing but it will just applies the input combinations to the Verilog code and it gives the output. Simulation is nothing but it will applies the input combinations using a test bench Verilog code, and it will get the Verilog and it will get the circuit output. Okay, it may be in the waveforms. Problem with simulation is, okay, it is for simple combination, as we said, for 2 input, 3 input, 4 input. What about for 10 inputs, 20 inputs, 50 inputs, 100 inputs? Okay, it is a simulation problem is particularly for large and complex models covering all the possible combinations, 2 power 50, 2 power 100, 2 power 200. It will be a much very much hectic work. Okay, covering all possible combinations and sequence of values that might arise in the real circuit is time consuming and resource intensive and is greatly not feasible. For that reason, we need to go for another approach, that is called formal verification. An alternative simulation is called formal verification. Formal verification involves mathematical proof of properties of the design. The properties can take the form of logical statements relating values of inputs and outputs. Okay, it will take the logical statements and relate the values with the inputs and outputs, or it takes a sequence of values of inputs and outputs that express the functional requirements, usually in a more abstract form than that of the model being verified. The analysis of the model and proof of the properties is performed by a CAD tool. It's called a model checker. For performing simulation, the tool is called simulator. For performing formal verification, the tool is called CAD tool is called model checker. Okay, what is simulator? It is a tool used to perform simulation. What is model checker? It is a CAD tool used to perform formal verification. Okay, formal verification is a relatively new technology and can require significant computational resources. It requires algorithms to um, separate algorithms to check to perform verification. In practice, functional verification of real-world circuits is most effectively done using a combination of simulation and formal verification. Okay, what you heard is correct. Okay, to verify the functionality of the design, the combination of simulation and formal verification is used. The third benefit of using Verilog is synthesis. Synthesis is nothing but whatever the whatever the whatever circuit you have described using Verilog code, okay, in terms of English language, it will be described into the gate level, it will in terms of circuit level, RTL description. Okay, the synthesis is the third benefit from the Verilog modeling. This involves automatic refinement and optimization of a model at a higher level of abstraction into a structural model at a lower level of abstraction. What is structural model means? Interconnection of the expression of the circuit in circuit realization. Interconnection of the components will be done. Okay, automatic and automatic refinement, optimization. You can see optimization. We are defined in our understanding level. The circuit has done optimized also. It is giving better one. Okay, for example, the register transfer level RTL. A register transfer is nothing but RTL of abstraction in Verilog involves expressing behavior in terms of assignment statements and expressions, such as the in our functional behavioral style of watt buzzer circuit. Okay, what we have seen in example on 6, functional or behavior Verilog model, as well as procedural blocks. A register transfer RTL level, register transfer level RTL level involves expressing the behavior of the circuit, like using assignment statements and expressing the expressions, like in functional style or Verilog programming. Functional Verilog programming is also called as behavioral Verilog programming. An RTL synthesis CAD tool automatically refines an RTL model into an optimized gate level model. Gate level model, please listen. It means whatever we written in English language, it will be means description in Boolean function or operator, using operator, okay, to express the output. That output will be converted into gate level structure. Okay, what we did circus in structural model, we only expressed the interconnection of the circuits in structural modeling, that was circus. But in functional, what we did, we expressed the Boolean function, that's it. but and the tool represented the gate level, gave the gate level representation. That is RTL will do. Whatever we give the functional description, means expressing the boolean function, that will be converted to gate level model. That is called, that is a structural model using gate components such as that of example 1.5. It means we expressed in example 1.6 using functional model, functional coding, behavioral coding. Functional coding is called, is also called behavioral coding. We just express the output in terms of mathematical boolean function using conditional operator. Okay, that is when the simulation is done, when the synthesis is done, the RTL tool will convert that into gate level model. See, instead of doing circuit just expressing using the function, we are getting the circuit in a better optimized way. What we did, we cannot justify it is optimized way or not, but the tool is giving the optimized way. Optimized way means a better circuit. Okay, it is good in overall performance, timing, area and all. Okay, that is the meaning of optimized. Advantages of synthesis: since a synthesis tool automates a task that we would otherwise have to perform manually, it greatly improves our productivity. Correct, right? What we did in structural way, we described the interconnection of circuit manually. Okay, we wrote many lines of code, we took time typing the lines, typing and naming the circuits: inverter 0, R0, inverter 1, R1, R2, like this, sorry, R1A, R1B, like this we named. We did a somewhat scratching head work, somewhat time consuming work. We named each component, we named each signal wire. Okay, internal intermediate signal wires, all that hard work we did and we expressed. But what we did, but what in functional description, behavioral description, okay, the tool is helping. That is the advantage. The tool is automatically taking our description, functional Verilog program, and it is giving the optimized structural some gate level model of the of the description, right? The advantage of synthesis tool, it automates our task and it gives the structural model, and it avoids manual circuit model expression. In particular, it makes more complex designs tractable. Since hardware description languages such as Verilog help so significantly with these design tasks, they have become central to modern design methods. What they're saying, what the last line is saying, the hardware description language like Verilog, it is giving the benefits of describing the design in a design entry, either in graphical form or textual form, and it's also giving the help of verification in simulation and formal verification. Other types of verification also there, and also it's helping synthesis part. One language giving all three benefits: describe the design, verify the design, get the synthesis of the design. Okay, so this is popularly using in VLSI industry and modern design as modern design methods. Okay, this is about models. Models means abstraction view of the design, having giving the describing the functionality of the design. Okay, in these models we saw how to describe a model in structural way and behavioral way, and we saw the benefits like design entry for verification. In that verification we saw simulation and formal verification, and we also saw synthesis and its benefit. Okay, and then this is the, in the next class we will see the design methodology. Okay, this is the conclusion of this today's class, and bear with me, this is the somewhat long class. I couldn't make this divide this class into a separate class. I have to take this class as a single site because you need to understand the how to write the Verilog code. Okay, since you are not learning in-depth Verilog construction in your syllabus, I need to take it as a long class, so I've taken a long class. Okay, pardon me for that. And um, we'll start the design method, means define design for hierarchical flow, and with respect to digital design, and with respect to embedded design methodology also. Okay, in the next class. Thank you.